VGK is running out of cap space after reportedly signing Brandon Saad to a 1 year, $2 million deal. What is this roster going to look like after this weekend? Ahead on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making us your first listen every day. I am Tony Cardasco. I am a longtime sportscaster, a marketing consultant, and the host of the Saturday Sports Beat radio show, 8 to 9 a.m. each week on Odyssey. He is Chris Golick, and Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports and the collectibles editor for the Hockey News. Coming up ahead, big weekend. And we're going to talk about what perhaps might the VGK roster look like after the next few days. It's draft weekend as well, and they're going to be announcing a new CBA today, Friday morning, and we've got WTF. We are brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app and use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. So, Chris, VGK's cap space, they are running out of room right now, $5.6 million. My calculations are usually off, but I think I'm pretty close. After reportedly signing Brandon Saad to a 1 year, $2 million contract, according to Jeff Marek. It's draft weekend, Chris, and you have to wonder what the Golden Knights' next move might be. A ton is happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, as far as the draft and everything, obviously we'll hit that a little harder in the second segment, but I don't think you're going to have a lot of impact as far as the draft affecting what the roster is going to look like next week. I don't know if the Golden Knights are going to necessarily wheel and deal, a lower pick. I mean, now if they're trying to shed some salary in like a Barbashev type or something like that, and they got to throw in a sweetener or something like that, then fine, so be it. But I don't think the draft is going to have a lot of impact on what the roster looks like, but everything else, I mean, obviously we're going to start the discussion with Marner, which looking around at various online websites, sports books, VGK is a massive chalk to close on Mitch Marner sometime. It's in the minus 130s to minus 175 range from what I just saw looking around on my computer here. So how is that going to happen, I think, is the first question. And the Golden Knights, like you said, it's around $5.6 million. They got to shed somewhere between $7 to $10 million in roster space. That is just for Mitch Marner. Now, when we're talking, depending on what happens with Nick Hague and some of the other, you got, again, Pearson, Olofsson. I think Olofsson's good as gone at this point. Ronbjerg, Schwint, Alex Holtz, and then, of course, Nick Hague and a possible goalie, depending on how that shakes out. So, yeah, this is going to be a very interesting weekend if the Golden Knights are going to sign Marner. And I'll close out this statement here with the fact that the reports are Marner doesn't seem like he's going to sign right out of the gate with free agency. So now the concern comes if the Golden Knights do start clearing all the salary cap space and Marner doesn't come, all of a sudden you got a big gaping hole in the VGK roster.
Yeah, and I say VGK needs to make two deals. I had some, as you might call them, up and backs with fans yesterday because I said
I call them confrontations.
Okay, so we'll call them. I'm just trying to be nice here for WTF Day, but they need to clear some cap room if they're going to go after someone big like Marner. But they also, again, have to sign complimentary players. So, in order for them to sign
Smith and Saad, they did.
Okay, is that it? Are they finished there? No? Yeah? You don't know?
I don't know. I mean, that's the big question. I mean, this is why the nice thing about Smith and Saad, you're talking $4 million AAV, two players that are under market, a deal that Kelly McCrimmon, of course, can never pass up. I believe Brandon Saad's AFP projection was a 2.6 million AAV, whereas Riley Smith was in the mid $4 million range. So you got two players that want to be here in Vegas, which is very important. I don't think a world exists where Kelly McCrimmon extends Smith and Saad and does not have an end game in mind for Mitch Marner.
There are some interesting names and rumors now floating around. Nick Kiprios on Sportsnet yesterday now saying that Nick Waugh could be a cap casualty involved perhaps in a trade. That pretty much could be something that we see. His name is, as we said, no one's safe. No one is safe right now for VGK except for Eichel.
No, I mean early WTF when you're getting your VGK jerseys, use Velcro for the nameplates and everything on the back just to be on the safe side, and maybe a dry erase marker and just put like a little, I don't know, something like a dry erase board on the back of it instead, because you never know. And that's the thing. I mean, what is the path to Mitch Marner is the biggest question right now. The good thing is it's not like going to be a trade at this point, unless the Crimin does come in with an 11th hour sign and trade situation.
Sign and trade, maybe. Sign and trade, it's still out there, right? That's still viable.
Listen, anything is out there when
everything's in play. Yeah.
But I think Marner honestly might want to stick it to the Leafs at this point and not accept any type of sign and trade. And also that gives him a chance to test out free agency. But yeah, I mean, cap casualties, there's only so many cap casualties you can have, starting with Tomas Hertl at 6.7 million, William Karlsson at 5.9, unlikely at this point. Ivan Barbashev at 5 million, strong possibility. Nick Waugh, I mean, at $3 million for all the things that he brings to this lineup, it works. It definitely works. But at Brett Howden for 500,000 less and more of an offensive scoring output, Nick Waugh becomes expendable at that point with return.
Yeah, and we were talking about some other players' names out there. There are players not on the VGK roster that are being linked to Las Vegas. Defenseman Bowen Byram's name is out there, maybe in a package deal. Haig and who knows whomever, Waugh, maybe. So Buffalo, draft picks, that would be a good exchange if they could throw in some draft picks. Byron,
Buffalo, they might trade him for a bag of used pucks too.
This is very, very true. So Byron is just 24 years old. The Avs want him back. The Kings are in the mix, and there's 8 teams there. Another name that I saw, Rasmus Andersson, who we spoke about just the other day. And Friedman said that VGK has shown interest. Oh, by the way, I was up late night doing some Google magic, and there was a Rasmus Bjorn. This makes sense. There was a Rasmus Bjorn Andersson, an American diplomat in the 1800s, and the Flames are now non-committal when it comes to Rasmus Andersson. Another year on his contract is left, and can VGK sneak in there? And they're going to have to fill some voids there now defensively with all these rumors and Haig, perhaps his departure, and Pietrangelo and him being on LTIR. But right now, Chris, again, $5.6 million in cap space. You can't just get rid of one $5 million player and expect to sign that big name, expect to sign Mitch Marner. There's going to have to be at least 2 to 3 moves this weekend if they're going to create some cap room. And if they're headed towards just keeping pretty much a similar roster to last season, I don't think it gets there. I really don't. I don't think it's going to be a team of depth pieces against a lot of teams that have improved.
It's been 8 minutes and 55 seconds. We never even mentioned Alex Pietrangelo's name in his LTIR situation. That's the move right there.
You need to listen, bro.
Oh, fair enough. I was doing research about Rasmus Andersson.
Did you
$8.8 million? That obviously
Bjorn Anderson. Did you find Rasmus Vegas Bjorn Anderson from the 1800s?
No, I didn't go that deep. So okay, so Pietrangelo, that's the easiest answer right there. The Golden Knights aren't shopping for Bo Byram and Rasmus Anderson if Mitch Marner's on the table. These are probably the contingency plans should Mitch Marner not wind up working out. Bo Byram, $3.8 million on his last salary. That's going to go up. Young defenseman. Rasmus Anderson is currently at $4.5 million. And again, a couple of good players. Bo Byram, 30 assists last season. Rasmus Anderson, 20 assists, 11 goals. Good, 10 goal scorer who's going to be very reliable. So those are plan Bs.
We've got draft weekend that starts on Friday night, and the NHL and NHLPA will announce today a new CBA at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It is believed at a newser. Coming up next, we'll have much more right here on Lockdown Golden Knights. Gametime, it gives you last minute ticket deals, zone deals for deep discounts, panoramic seat views, and all in pricing with no hidden fees. Plus, they have ticket prices if you are looking maybe for the NHL draft in LA. Keep in mind the ticket prices drop the closer you get to puck drop, so you can score big without overpaying. And definitely like the zone deals. They pick the best seats at the lowest prices. And right now, zone deals are offering 10% off exclusive zone deals for FIFA Club World Cup matchups. And you can see your exact seat before checkout, and it gives you total confidence. It's honestly something that's terrific here. They've got the ticket coverage guarantee that covers cancellations, job loss, and even offering 24-hour returns. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets today with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code Locked On NHL, and you'll get $20 off of your first purchase. Again, download the Game Time app today. Use the promo code Locked On NHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do indeed apply. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. You didn't jump in with Game Time.
I was ready. I
know. New copy. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Of course, make sure as well to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. First, the draft. No first round draft pick for VGK on Friday. We'll start in round 2, pick 58. I don't know who's going to be around, but there are some ideas that I have too. Move up and get Roger McQueen. Why? Because he plays for the Brandon Wheat Kings, and this is a roster of Wheat Kings with Kelly. Now he's a top 30 pick, I think. Jackson Smith from Canada, a good defensive two-way player. Yeah, and in the all-name category, if you can, move up and get Carter Bear. You need a bear on your team.
I thought we were going to line on the same Carter. So let's examine. What's that?
Verhaeghe Jr.?
No, but let's examine McCrimmon's tendencies when it comes to drafts, and it's looking for players with some type of defect. Peyton Krebs suffers an injury before the draft, drops down. Of course, never lived up to his original draft type, but it makes sense why they took that chance. Trevor Connolly, of course, dropped down due to off-ice issues, and Connolly's career seems to be blossoming nicely at the American League level, and maybe an outside chance to get some NHL time depending on what happens this year. So, and again, draft talk, this is probably the most draft talk you'll ever get out of me on the station. And I hijacked something from a Bruins website, targets they'd possibly be looking at in the second round. And Carter Amico of the U.S. National Development Program has got my attention. Why? Because his red flag is due to injury, but he's 6'5", 232 pounds. Could be some upside, strong blue liner Nick Hague type, maybe a good player that could help the Golden Knights. But again, you got that injury situation. That's kind of got what my attention right there. You got a kid out of high school, Mason West, who is committed to play another season of football before even wanting to think about pursuing professional hockey. So that's VGK written all over it. It's going to be basically looking for possible value in the second round, players who other teams might not be looking at for some odd reason, and Golden Knights might be able to sweep in and find someone that could make the roster in 2037.
Yeah, just 6 picks. There's going to be some movement in the top 10. I think Chicago goes third, and that's been the number one choice out there as far as making a move there and getting some more assets perhaps and wheeling and dealing. I don't know how active, as you mentioned earlier, VGK will be in the actual draft. I think everything's going to be coming. They're not, I don't think they're really active participants this year, but we'll see.
VGK does not have a first in 25 or 26. This year, it's one pick in each of the rounds until the sixth round, where they have two picks, nothing in the seventh.
Nothing in the seventh. Yeah.
Following season, second and a third, no fourth, and then a fifth, sixth, and seventh. And then it's back to business as usual, but that 2027. But over under, how long will the Vegas Golden Knights have that 2027 first round pick for? That'd be a good over under. I'll
It's a
put it
good
at
one.
probably about let's put it at next March 4th and a half or something like that, where the next trade deadline is.
Okay. We checked the box right there. That's my little check mark. That we covered the
Okay, yeah,
draft.
moving on. CBA is
We-
a lot more
We
interesting.
covered the draft.
I spent too much time on it.
So on Friday, they're expected to announce a new collective bargaining agreement. And so that is pretty interesting. They said they wanted to have everything done here. Gary Bettman and his staff and the NHLPA, they got it done. They got it done. I have to give them a ton of credit.
No discussion of stoppages or lockouts or strikes or nothing either.
Right. They got it done. And again, huge credit. I didn't realize it, but one of my friends said that the NHLPA was meeting here in Vegas last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Usually it's on my radar and I go down there, I start picketing or doing something. 84 game schedule, an extra game for Bill Foley. That's what this all amounts to. They want now full-time emergency backup goalies. How much will they pay? $1,000 a week to hang around there? Maybe. It doesn't go
I
against
can live
the
off
cap.
that,
Who
but I
knows?
mean, I guess if it's a kid out of school and they get to get a year of all expenses paid at $50K,
Honestly, I mean,
work.
they're not getting like a full-time salary, right? So they have to pay them something. So we'll see
VGK will
what
make them
happens.
sharpen skates or something, get them on the payroll, do something else.
It could be someone in the equipment room that
My
they
buddy
give
Chance,
extra
my
money
buddy who
to.
plays Chance, his days might be numbered. They may look to replace Chance with an e-bug or something.
Is Chance going to be announcing that pick at number 58? That's the bigger question. No,
Go ahead.
let me go. I'm just doing bullet points, and then you could jump in.
Okay, fine.
No player dress code. That's a little lame because like you want the drip as they walk in with their suits on and all that. Max 6-year deals for free agents, 7 years for re-signings, 6 years otherwise will be the max. I find that interesting. And then a playoff salary cap. I did more than check the box there, Gullet. Go ahead, man.
No, we're good. So I'll just hit these. I'll hit each of the bullet points. 84 game regular season. Okay, fine, cool. But now you're adding more injury risk, more potential of that. You're going to lessen. Go ahead.
It would have paid for 20 employees that were cut.
Ooh, that was good, Tony.
WTF,
really
WTF
good
day.
mic drop right
WTF
there.
day.
I like that one.
Okay.
So you're expanding the regular season in a time we have international play coming back and international exhibition play, aka the Four Nations coming back and things like that. So again, a little more pressure on the players. That's a concern. The term for 6 or 7 years, I don't care about that. The LTIR, I want to see what the language is of this because I guarantee you teams are going to find a way around it if they're not careful. So I really want to see what that language is going to look like. If it's simple, hey, here's a salary cap, boom, done. But the fact that they're mentioning a comprehensive playoff salary cap mechanism, there's a lot of words. We have words, Tony. We have words. There's a lot of words in there. So we'll see their signing bonuses, whatever, don't care. Revenue split, they can figure that out. As far as the drip and the way they dress, I mean, I don't care. As long as they, look presentable, and presentable these days is a lot of things. So it's good that this is done, and this is certainly something that can cause a lot of headache and heartburn for those who do cover the game if there's a stoppage and things like that. And the fact that this happened with relative ease and pretty smooth, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And you missed the big one. They banned deferred salaries.
Oh God, yeah. I was looking. I knew there was one. Yeah, great. That's good. I mean, I get paid for my work I do the second I ship my products out, and that's my expectation. Don't pay me in 10 years for the work I did today because that's dumb.
And one other note, Frank Saravelli reported that the signing bonus is now limited to 60% ceiling. So if you're going to sign a player now, you can't, like, I think what Riley Smith, one year at, 1 million, and then second year, and then a $1 million signing bonus can't be anymore. It would only have to be 600,000,
It
right?
all counts in the AAV somewhere. So, but I don't know exactly how that works.
Pay the stinking e-bug. Pay him.
Hey,
Coming up next, What the Friday. Stay with us on Lockdown Golden Knights. Ever check your bank account and wonder where in the world did all my money go? Between dining out here in Vegas, online shopping, my specialty, and entertainment, it is so easy to lose track, especially here, as we've often said. And that's where Monarch Money, Chris, definitely comes in to play, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over all of your finances. And it's not just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start to build wealth. And again, I am just hooked on online shopping and stuff like that. We need a store for fans to buy our merchandise too. We got to talk to the big man. In any event, managing money with your partner is smoother than ever, and you can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all of that stress. So take control of your finances today with Monarch Money. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll receive 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com. Again, that is monarchmoney.com. Use LOCKEDONNHL for half off of your first year. We are back on this edition, a little spicy this morning, of Lockdown Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. And this is a city where the draft just does not matter unless it's here, unless it's at the Sphere. Right? I'm going to be in and out. I'll watch the first maybe 10 picks, and then I'll keep an eye on what happens.
That's 11 more than I'll watch.
And they have all these celebrities making the announcements. I saw
Bieber.
Nikki Glazer is going to have something funny to say, so that'll spice.
Oh, she's great.
Up. Yeah. Who is it for? Ottawa? I forget who it's for. And so that's pretty cool. And this will be the first and last year where all of the teams will be working remotely. And you were over at City National last night. You saw who in the office?
We had a game at 6 o'clock, and we wound up in Mackenzie River after the game, enjoying our victory. And saw McPhee somewhere around the 7:30 hour, still walking around. I believe it was McPhee. I'm about 99% sure. And it's a busy time, so it definitely makes sense. And shout out to little Chris. 6 points in the last 2 games, 1 goal, 5 assists. So Chris finally getting going at the 12U level right now. So it's exciting. As we head into our playoffs this weekend, we got the playoffs this weekend for the Ice Dogs.
That kid is an ice hog or whatever you call it.
No, he's not an ice hog. He's definitely not an ice hog. Definitely not an ice hog.
He's Selly's coming along, and yeah, if you saw a guy in a Teflon suit, you saw the made man. That's what happened. So Bill Daly and Gary Bettman said no NHL expansion in the not too distant future, and some interesting happenings right now. Kevin Weeks posted yesterday an expansion club would cost in the vicinity of $2 billion. By comparison, Bill Foley paid $500 million compared to $2 billion. Think about that in just a short period of time. So those
franchises doing better.
Yeah,
NHL's doing better. That's good.
Franchises are definitely, and that was back in 2016, way back in the day for Foley. But they say no expansion in the future plans yet. Atlanta,
all these things keep popping up.
I know, right? Atlanta approached the league and said, "Hey, we've approved a new multiplex facility to be constructed. We'll
Bring
give
back
you
the Omni,
the $2 billion in clams, and let's get going." So now, all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, $2 billion? All right, let's do this."
Sorry, if you've failed twice in the NHL, you don't get a third time.
We keeping you awake here? Come on.
No, that's when I think of Atlanta or Quebec wanting a team back. Like you failed once, go home. You're done. Or twice for that matter. My WTF, just to positive about VGK. This is the time of year where, again, VGK is in on the biggest free agent, possibly Mitch Marner. And all these other fan bases are just going nuclear right now. And some people are acknowledging the good it is that it is following the Golden Knights. We're talking a team heading into its 9th year as a cup contender, as a division contender, as just a strong team that could go far if the right things happen. And yet Toronto is a dumpster fire. Buffalo isn't even on fire. That's how bad they are. They're worse than a dumpster fire. You look at what all these other franchises have gone through, what Chicago's gone through, what San Jose has gone through. Yes, the future is better, but you look at all the struggle they had to go through. And here we are talking about in year 9, the Golden Knights not only competing, but adding another cornerstone franchise player who could be around for the next 6 to 8 years, depending on if Marner's deal, the longer the better, I guess, so to speak. So it's awesome watching these new markets, or southern markets, if you will, just school all these new markets. And people are saying, well, it still comes back how people are talking about how the expansion draft was favored for the Golden Knights and everything and blah, blah, blah. Well, I got news for you. The Seattle Kraken have been around for a minute. They haven't figured anything out. They still don't have a star player. They're a fringe playoff team at best right now. So don't tell me that anything was favored for the Golden Knights. Bill Foley put the right people in place to get this team to where it is. And we're looking at a possible 11 to 13 year Stanley Cup window. That doesn't happen, not just hockey, but professional sports. So positive WTF for the fun it is following and being a fan of the Vegas Golden Knights.
What got into you? Okay, some WTFs from across the board here. Okay, so Douglas Fromm says Tony having air quotes technical difficulties for Monday's show. Also, what is Buffalo doing? WTF? Buffalo's gonna Buffalo, but the technical difficulties. We had this major fog like rolling in the other day,
Fog?
and I think so, wasn't it? I've got to make up a story. No, it was actually the Wi-Fi, the stinking Wi-Fi. What did I do, Chris? We finally figured it out. Well, on my end, I'm the worst technical person on the planet. I said, you know what? Let me unplug my Wi-Fi and let's like redo it here, a little redo, and it finally started to work again. WTF in Buffalo? Yeah, that's another story. That's a full episode. John Price at VGK Bandit, our good friend. WTF is all the hate on Hurdle. He did a good job last year. Just saying, I would rather get rid of Carlson or Barbashev, as much as I hate to say that. WTF. Yoda Jenkins, WTF, in honor of the Petro rumor, Flamingo is renaming their new pool the LTIR. So that is the LTIR pool at the Flamingo. If
That's
you don't
good.
have to wait in line, if you don't have to wait in line for 5 hours, you can maybe see the pool. WTF.
If you've had like a recent injury that kept you away from work or something like that,
That's
you
tremendous.
get a free line pass or something.
It went
like
out of
that.
the park right there.
So here, we'll see if it happens. But Pietrangelo, I'm getting some text that it's looking more and more likely
He's out.
that he's going to be on LTIR very quickly.
It's a hip. He's done.
Well, and the other thing that I'm hearing right now is how aggressive GMs might be when it comes to offer sheets and everything. It seems like the door has been kicked down, this unwritten rule that you don't do offer sheets and things like that. It seems like that might be all gone. So all bets might be off when it comes to that.
There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in cap space out there, so they can throw out a ton of money.
It's a cutthroat. It's a cutthroat world, and the best GM is likely going to be the GM that has his coach holding up a Stanley Cup at the end of the year. So why not?
Hague's contract is going to rival Chandler Stevenson's probably by the time it was all said and done. Go ahead.
Trade Hague before that happens then.
All right, WTF. Go ahead, man. Fire.
No, that's all I got. That's it. I'm good. I'm scrolling down. I just love
anything good.
I'm just having fun reading all the Leafs fans flipping out right now over Mitch Marner. Ooh, here's a three-way trade that someone Austin Matthews VGK gets Austin Matthews 50% retained by Toronto. There we go. Done. I don't care what the other side of that is. I'm in.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun weekend.
It's going to be this is the weekend when the news broke of Logan Thompson being traded and likely Marchessault not extending a year ago. So yeah,
when he had to sign autographs up there at the Sphere, that was tremendous.
What a moment.
right after the trade. They timed that really, really
It was a
well.
great
And
moment.
of course, great moment in VGK history. We appreciate everyone tuning in. If major news breaks, we will be there. For my man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you on Monday, unless big news breaks,
Or
right
sooner.
here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care.